Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium Singles video here on iStarly TV. This is part of my Road to Master series where I try to climb the online ranked Battle Stadium Singles ladder. Today I have a brand new team here, although is it really a brand new team? If you notice, I am using Rillaboom and Mamoswine once again, and I'm using Iron Bundle and Flutter Mane, which are Pokemon that I often use, but I would say this is a very different team because of the focus of the team. So, I mean, really, if you break it down, all of these Pokemon are Pokemon that I've used probably pretty often in the past. Mamoswine and Rillaboom are Pokemon that I've been using pretty consistently on my past few teams, and I like them a lot. I think they're awesome Pokemon. I will make a promise here, though. The next team I feature, the next new team I feature, I promise to not have either Rillaboom or Mamoswine on that team. I promise right now. That doesn't mean, like, I might end up doing one more video with this team. We'll see how today goes. But the next brand new team I feature will not have those Pokemon. So let's get to the team. It is built around Espathra. So as you can see right there, we have Espathra with Grassy Seed. I'm running max HP and max defense. And Espathra is a great setter-upper of Calm Mind, because with the Grassy Seed, its defense gets boosted in the grassy terrain, and we start setting up our special defense as well, and we end up just being super tanky, and thanks to the grassy terrain, we get some recovery as well. So it ends up making Espathra super tanky, and then we can just click Stored Power and just destroy things. So I've liked this set in the past. I know I used it a long time ago when Scarlet and Violet was new, and I had a lot of success with it. The moves are Calm Mind, Roost, and then Stored Power obviously is the main move. And then I'm running Dazzling Gleam mainly to take on Dark types. I felt like Dark types were maybe a little bit more prominent in this meta. Steel types are also an issue with this moveset. Another option for the move was Shadow Ball, or even you could do a different Terra type like Terra Fighting, and that gives you good coverage against Steel and Dark types. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll try that in the future. But for right now, we have Terra Normal just because it's a solid, balanced defensive type. And it only has one weakness, which is Fighting, and people will not use Fighting type moves against you if you're not Terrassalized, because you're a Psychic type, so you can sometimes catch them. If you expect them to use like a Dark move, obviously you just Terrassalize. And a big reason is if you expect them to use a Ghost type move, you can go Terra Normal and be immune to it and get off a free Calm Mind or something like that. So that's Espathra, and it's been working pretty well for me. Sometimes people just don't expect it, and it's really, really good. And then, of course, the support for Espathra is Rillaboom to set up grassy terrain. One awkward thing about Espathra is that we really don't want to bring it if we're not bringing Rillaboom as well. So the two of them come as a package deal. However, I found that in a lot of battles, I do tend to bring both of them together. So I have been bringing them because they've been pretty good, actually. So that's something there. We're running max attack and max speed on Rillaboom, and then we have kind of just support moves. Grassy Glide is great, Knockoff is great as well, Taunt is nice against Pokemon that would set up Stealth Rock and stuff like that, and then we have U-Turn for Pokemon that are faster than us. We can kind of U-Turn and get in Espathra effectively for free. From there, we have Choice Specs Iron Bundle. Not too much explanation needed there. It's just there to hit hard. Iron Bundle's a fantastic Pokemon. Then we have my Stealth Rock Mamoswine with Focus Sash. Nothing new here. I've been using it pretty frequently, and I've been liking it a lot. And I love the synergy between Mamoswine and Rillaboom, because if the opponent sees Mamoswine, they typically expect you to lead with it to set up Stealth Rock. So they might lead with something like Urshifu, who can break my Focus Sash with Surging Strike. And so if I just lead with Rillaboom, I kind of just get the upper hand on that. So Rillaboom and Mamoswine kind of complement each other decently, where they cover each other pretty well, I would say. Then we've got my bulky Flutter Mane. It's max HP, max defense with Booster Energy. Booster Energy boosts its speed, because even though I have max HP and max defense, with 4 EVs in speed, my speed stat is still my highest stat. So we end up being faster than most everything in the meta, aside from other Booster Energy Flutter Manes and Booster Energy Iron Bundles. But aside from that, we are faster than everything. We can get up like a free Calm Mind. And Flutter Mane honestly is just there just to be a good Pokemon. Like in situations where maybe Espathra doesn't look too good, we just have a bunch of Pokemon that are just solid no matter what. And then finally we have Ogerpon. In all honesty, when I built this team and tested it, I was actually using Choice Banded Basculegion. To be completely honest, I made this team a few weeks ago. To be completely honest, I don't even remember why I put Basculegion on the team, because in testing with this team, I actually don't think I ever brought Basculegion once. So I just thought just having another good Pokemon on the team would help, and so I added Ogerpon. So we're gonna see how that does. I mean, Ogerpon's just a ubiquitously good Pokemon, so you know, I don't know if I'll miss Basculegion because again, I just never brought it. But anyways, there's the team. There's a code right there if you want to try it out for yourself, and I'm excited to get to some games. Game number 1 is very interesting here. My opponent has Mesprit. I call it Mesprit. It doesn't have an E on the end, so you don't have the long I sound, I think. Is it a long I? Anyways, Mesprit is interesting because it's pretty well-rounded, its stats, but I don't know, I feel like it's outclassed by a lot of things. They have a Screamtail as well, and then Conkeldurr, and everything else on their team is really strong. The first 3 Pokemon are very, very good. The first question for me to ask, of course, is going to be, how does Espathra look here? And I think Espathra looks pretty solid, actually. They don't have any super crazy, scary, strong Pokemon. Like, if they had like a strong fighting type, that would be a little scary because, you know, I don't want to terastallize. But also at the same time, they don't have any dark type. So I definitely want to bring Espathra, which means I do want to bring Rillaboom as well. And I think I will lead with Rillaboom here. It actually looks like a solid lead against almost everything they have. The question then is, what do I bring in the back? So what do Espathra and Rillaboom have the most trouble with? I kind of expect them to lead with Screamtail. Ursaluna can be a problem, and so can Dragonite. So I think I'm gonna bring, oh, this is actually kind of tough. I'm gonna bring Flutter Mane. It's kind of all the same. That's actually one Pokemon, you know, Dragonite is a Pokemon that can give my team some trouble. Like, if I can get up a lot of boosts with Espathra, Dragonite's maybe not that scary, but if it's early on in the game and I don't have a lot of boosts yet and they send in Dragonite, it can be a tough situation. But they actually lead Conkeldurr, which is really interesting. I'm really surprised by this. I could click Grassy Glide right away. I could click Taunt, but I don't really know. I don't know if this thing gets Stealth Rock. I'm actually gonna knock off right away just to kind of see what happens. Sometimes they run Flame Orb, so they could be Flame Orb with Guts. So if we knock off their item, that helps us. If they're Assault Vest, that might also help us in the future as well. They're Choice Banded, that's nice. They're Terra Fire. Okay, if they're Terra Fire, I don't think they're Flame Orb. They could be Toxic Orb, though. Alright, let's see what happens here. They're probably going to click, like, Fire Punch or something, which is probably going to destroy me. Knockoff does decent damage. They're actually Life Orb. Maybe they're Sheer Force, which is interesting as well. To be quite honest, so they do cleanly one-hit KO me with the Fire-boosted Fire Punch, Terra Fire-boosted Fire Punch. This is actually pretty scary, and I actually gave them some HP recovery. Yikes. So they're probably Sheer Force. I wonder, do they get any Dark-type moves? We might just get destroyed turn 1, or game 1, I mean. I don't know, but yeah, the fact that I gave them some HP recovery is pretty awkward, to be honest, but I'm just gonna click Calm Mind here, and hope that they don't have, like, Knockoff, which they might. If they have Knockoff, we're gonna get destroyed. Although if they have Knockoff, I've already consumed my item, so it actually won't do that much damage, even though I am weak to it. So now they're gonna switch into Screamtail, which is honestly not something I'm excited to see because they could go for Thunder Wave here. They could also Taunt. I think Thunder Wave is the biggest issue. They could have Haze, which would be a problem as well. Haze would be a worst case scenario. Yeah, so we're actually off to a rough start here, but I'm still gonna go ahead and set up a Calm Mind just to see what happens. Because if they Thunder Wave, we can still persevere through the paralysis, even if we're not the fastest thing on the battlefield. Because we'll just be so tanky at that point. Oh, they Encore, okay. I guess I should have seen this coming. They Encore, but what are they gonna do beyond that? Because Screamtail is not like a threatening Pokemon. It doesn't really, now they're switching. Okay, they're gonna switch, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, Screamtail doesn't have that much good offense, so they're switching into Conkeldurr. I think it's 3 turns of Encore, which means, honestly, we might want to switch. But I am gonna just, I'm just a little curious. This is actually turning out to be pretty rough, to be honest, but if we can survive this, we'll see what happens. I don't think I ever want to Terrasilize because they're a fighting type, so that's gonna just help them. So this might be this is turn 2 of Encore. Let's see what they go for now. Fire Punch, okay. It's probably gonna still do a decent chunk of damage. Okay, it's not a 2-hit KO, that's nice, and we do not get burned, which is nice. Obviously, we don't care about our attack stat, but burn would be just additional damage that I just would not want to take. So I think we're still stuck. Yeah, we are, okay. This should be the last turn, so we're surviving a Fire Punch here. It seems like Fire Punch is their best move, because I feel like if they had a Dark move, they would have gone for it. So I hope they just Fire Punch again, okay. As long as we don't get burned, because then we're gonna snap out of the Encore, I believe, and that'll just cleanly one-hit KO their Conkeldurr. Yes, there we go. Is it Conkeldurr or Conkeldurr? Either way, I say Conkeldurr. And I'm at plus, I have, oh my god, yeah, like, I mean, my stored power, I'm not gonna do the math, my stored power is just gonna be an absolute, just bomb. It's gonna absolutely destroy everything, and that's why I run this set. Yeah, we're sweeping now. And honestly, even though Screamtail itself is a Psychic type, they might still take a ton of damage. Although Screamtail's really bulky. Screamtail's a weird Pokemon. It's like fast, but it's also really bulky. Like it has good defense and special defense, and I think decent HP, but I think at this point, I mean, that's the reason that these stored power Pokemon are so good when they are good, because even if Pokemon resist stored power, if you get enough boosts, it's pretty much over. So I'm gonna click stored power just in case they Encore me again. And that is a one-hit KO on a resisted Pokemon. So that means that whatever they go into, I don't think is going to survive, because as I pointed out earlier, they rage quit. As I pointed out earlier, they rage quit. Yeah. As I pointed out earlier, they did not have any Dark-type Pokemon. So yeah, we actually got that sweep. That battle was looking rough. There was a moment in there where it was looking really bad for me, and I was like, I'm probably not going to win this one. Mainly when they Encored me, because if they had something better to follow up with, then I was stuck with Calm Mind and I would have been forced to switch out, but that worked out really well. But that right there, you can see the power of this combination of Rillaboom and Espathra. It's so much fun. I actually really like both these Pokemon. If you've watched my videos from the beginning, or you've seen some of my older Battle Stadium Singles content from Scarlet and Violet, Espathra is a Pokemon that I've been using, or that I've used pretty consistently in different ways. I used it with Stored Power in the past, and I think it's better now because we have Grassy Seed with Rillaboom with Grassy Terrain. Also, there's a returning item, I think that's returning in, or that has returned in the DLC, the Teal Mask DLC, the Key Berry, which I want to try out in other Pokemon. But anyways, yeah, Espathra's great, Rillaboom's cool. Let's go to game 2. Game number 2, my opponent has what appears to be a weird team. I was gonna say appears to be a Trick Room team, which is possibly true. They have Indeedee, who I think now gets Trick Room. I don't think it got it last gen, but either way, it has Trick Room. It has Psychic Surge, which could be important. Actually, this is hilarious. They have Indeedee with Psychic Surge, which summons the Psychic Terrain. So if we lead with Rillaboom and they lead with Indeedee, or if they bring Indeedee at all, they can remove my terrain. So that's actually something I need to keep in mind. However, with that in mind, I think my combo is pretty nice here. So I do want to bring both of these again because they both look really strong. One Pokemon that is going to give me some trouble though is going to be that Goldango. So I wonder if I lead Mamoswine here. However, I think a likely lead on their end is going to be that Iron Treads, I think it's called. So this is actually interesting. Because Torterra can also be interesting. Dreadnaught's a really weird one, to be quite honest. And then they also have Torkoal, which I need to keep in mind. I guess I will lead Mamoswine, and then I'm going to bring my combo. The name of the game here really is setting up Grassy Terrain and getting Espathra in before they get their Psychic Terrain up so I can get the Grassy Seed boost. That's a cool picture. Looks like my opponent's a big fan of Torkoal. I don't want to underestimate my opponent's team because even though they're using a bunch of random Pokemon that you don't typically see, I never like to underestimate these teams because when I do, I end up, of course, losing to them. So they get the booster energy. It might just be, hopefully it's just speed. It is speed. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm just going to click Earthquake turn 1 because they are weak to it. And if they set up Stealth Rock, you know, whatever. I don't like that, but I'll take it. And this just gets a ton of damage on them, and it means we might possibly be able to follow up with a Ice Shard knockout, possibly. Oh, nice. Yeah, we can. That's actually perfect, because now we still have our Focus Sash intact. So that's why I really like this with Mamoswine. Yeah, with my Mamoswine lead, I typically like to just click Earthquake turn 1 instead of Stealth Rock. So I don't just blindly Stealth Rock. Anyway, they go into Indeedee, which once again is great because it means that... Ooh, the Psychic Terrain looks interesting. It means that... what am I trying to say? That when we go into Rillaboom, we will get up our own terrain. I think Indeedee has decent bulk, though. That's a 2-hit KO, though. I'll take that. They are Trick Room, kind of like I expected. Of course, them being Trick Room is definitely something that we're going to have to keep in mind. Is there ever a world where I Terra Ice Shard here? Would that knock them out? If that knocked them out, I might have just straight up done that. But I'm going to click Earthquake here. We're going to take a lot of damage from a move, pretty likely. Oh, Healing Wish. Doesn't that faint? Wait, and then Healing Wish, isn't it supposed to heal whatever comes in? Oh, I guess... Okay, wait. They just wasted it, right? That's weird, okay. However, they're probably going to set up with whatever they go into. Oh, they go into Torkoal, what? That's really strange. Okay, well, this was an interesting game. We're going to click Earthquake now. They Terrastalize, which honestly is a little scary. If it's Terra Fire, though, with like, what's it called? Eruption, that's fine by me because I guaranteed live. Yeah, it looks like it's Terra Fire with Eruption. And that's great for me because obviously I'm going to take a ton of damage here. Oh, I'm so dumb. Well, I'll get to why I'm dumb in a second. Yeah, but I have my Focus Sash still, so it's actually amazing that I never took a hit this battle because I survived this guaranteed, and then I'm going to get off a lot of damage on this Torkoal, which means their future eruptions are going to do a lot less damage. However, if they're Choice Specs, there is a world where we could still... Ooh, that's so much damage. Okay. There is a world where we could still lose. Well, this isn't going to do that much damage anymore. All right, what was I going to say? The reason I'm dumb is Psychic Terrain prevents priority. So there was not a point where I could have clicked Ice Shard. If I had clicked Ice Shard, it would have been an awful situation for me. So I'm really glad that I didn't do that because I was about to. Anyway, I go into Rillaboom now, and honestly, we're going to win the game in a pretty... No, never mind, I'm dumb. I was going to say we're going to win the game in a pretty funny way. Wait. See, everyone, I'm all over the place. I'm so dumb. All right, I was going to say we're going to win the game in a pretty funny way. We're going to finish them off with Grassy Glide, even though they're a fire type. And then I was like, wait, Psychic Terrain is up. It's going to prevent priority. And then I'm like, wait, I just changed the terrain, so it's not Psychic anymore. So, yeah, I'm all back and forth. I'm all over the place. But we are going to win this game, I believe, because we are going to Grassy Glide them. That's going to have priority because we are in Grassy Terrain, even despite the Trick Room, and that is going to finish them off. So my opponent had a really interesting team. I do think there's a world where their team could have worked really well. I'm assuming they were Choice Specs on their Torkoal, because if you go Trick Room with, you know, Indeedee and then Faint, and then you go into Torkoal with Choice Specs, Eruption, you know, Terra Fire, you basically just destroy everything that doesn't resist it, because it's Sun boosted, it's Choice Specs boosted, Eruption is like 150 base power or something like that. So I kind of see what they were going for. It just unfortunately didn't work out for them. The Healing Wish on Indeedee, I kind of feel like they did that on purpose, because Healing Wish, you faint, and then whichever Pokemon you go into is completely healed 100%, and it's removed of any status. But obviously at that point, since they had only one Pokemon left that hadn't been sent in the battle yet, their Pokemon was already going to be at full health. So I think they only knocked out their Indeedee for momentum so that they could just freely go into Torkoal and start spamming Eruption. But luckily for me, I had the priority in the back because, yeah, there was a world where I could have lost that battle. So that's game number 2. That was a lot of fun, and let's do one more here. All right, interesting team here. My opponent has Landorus, which can be a lead. I actually really like a Mamoswine lead here, but they do have Urshifu, so I wonder if they're going to lead Urshifu. I guess the question is if I lead with Rillaboom, because Rillaboom's not nearly as good of a lead as Mamoswine is. Mamoswine's good against like 5 of their Pokemon, where Rillaboom is only good against like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. I do still think I'm going to bring Rillaboom here. And they... Well, see, I was going to say they don't have dark types, but their Urshifu could be dark. I'm still going to bring this. I'm still going to bring Espathra here. And then finally... Who else do I like here? Kind of like Flutter Mane. Mamoswine, I did say Mamoswine's pretty nice, but I think it's at its best if we lead with it. If we don't lead with it, I think it loses a good amount of value. It could still be decent here, though, unless they have Stealth Rock. Bundle is good against a couple of their things, but there's also a world where it could go poorly for us. Ogerpon's also decent. Flutter Mane's also decent. See, they all have, like, pros and cons, right? I mean, I guess they're supposed to, right? I'm gonna bring Flutter Mane. I feel like Flutter Mane's a little bit more reliable. Like, just having it in the back feels a little safer. Because I feel like it can mostly win a 1v1 against almost everything on their team. So, again, Mamoswine's really good, but I'm just scared that if they get up Stealth Rock, then Mamoswine's Sash gets broken. Just puts us in a really bad spot. They do lead with Flutter Mane, and I lead Rillaboom, which is a situation that I like because we have just the Grassy Glide. I can just click that right away, and it's going to do a lot of damage to them. And they can't stop this. They could go Terra Grass, but that would be really weird. Could go Terra Fire, which is less weird, but I'm always happy to get my opponent's Terra turn 1. So if they don't Terrasilize and don't switch, they're going to be taking a lot of damage here. Yeah, they do switch, so I'm happy about that. Getting a free switch, getting some free damage on anything. It is going to be Landorus. Okay, that's fair. Now, the question is, what do we do? Do we immediately go into Espathra? So we could Taunt, or we could Knock Off, or we could U-turn, or we could just hard switch into Espathra. I do feel like they're probably going to go for Stealth Rock here. And if that's the case, I'm tempted to Knock Off. But if that's the case, I'm just going to U-turn. Oh, they U-turn. Interesting. Okay, well, luckily we survived that. This is nice for me, too, though, because it gives me the initiative. Like, whatever they go into, I U-turn after they switch, so I get to kind of go into whichever Pokemon is a little bit better positioned. And it's going to be this thing. Okay, Iron Hands is not something I'm super happy to see. Of course, my opponent still has not Terrasilized. The U-turn is a little awkward here because they're pretty much going to just recover it back with the grassy terrain, thanks to me. I could just go into this and set up a Calm Mind. Honestly, Espathra's pretty good against their team. I think I'm going to do that. And we did not see Booster Energy on Flutter Mane, so there's a chance our Flutter Mane guaranteed outspeeds theirs. So I get the defense boost, which means I should take any hit from this Iron Hands. However, Iron Hands is a big threat. Iron Hands is a scary Pokemon, and it's also possible that they have Assault Vest, which is a somewhat common item on Iron Hands. They could also have Belly Drum or Swords Dance, which is really scary, but we're gonna just go for it here and see what happens. I mean, I might fail this. Oh, they switch. That's actually really nice for me. They could go into Flutter Mane here. They do. I only have one speed boost. I feel like they're gonna Taunt. The funny thing is, if we Terrastalize here, that's going to make us weaker against their Iron Hands in the future. But hopefully by then we have enough boosts that we can... Yeah, I'm going to click Calm Mind. This is so risky. I'm really scared. But I'm going to do it. Like, I know this is really risky. It's a high-risk, high-reward situation. My worst fear, which is honestly not even that bad, is that they Taunt me here. Or Perish Song. Those are or Thunder Wave. Those are like the 3 worst case scenarios, which honestly all of which are pretty possible, to be honest. Taunt is honestly the least bad because I miss out on a turn of Calm Mind. I'm assuming, right? Because I only have 1 speed boost, so I'm not faster than them just yet. So Taunt is not that bad. Perish Song is also not the worst because I have a couple turns to do stuff. Thunder Wave is the worst case scenario, but even Thunder Wave, like, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Oh, so I was faster. I feel like they're just going to Shadow Ball. They do! That's great. Oops, sorry. I scared my birds. I scared my Squawkabillies. That's great for me. So if they don't have Perish Song, I mean, we're just gonna clean up again with Espathra. They could click Moonblast, but we're going to take it really, really well. They switch. That is perfect. I think they're going to go into Iron Hands here, which honestly... Okay, they go Landorus. Okay, well, I'm faster than Landorus. And it's taken damage, which means even if it has Focus Sash, the focus sash is gone. So my point is, stored power should knock out Landorus here. And the amazing thing, this is what makes Espathra so amazing if you can get it rolling like this, is now my stored power is just going to be just incidentally boosted every single turn. I think by 20 power. Yeah, so we get a kill here. Our stored power gets boosted by 20 more power, as if that wasn't enough already. And I think given that their Flutter Mane switched out, I don't think they have anything to stop this. Unless this is Terra Dark Iron Hand, which honestly would be hilarious because that's like the weirdest Terra type ever. They should get it, or they should take a ton of damage. Yeah, they are Terastallizing, which is likely to remove their weakness. They're probably like Terra Electric, or Terra maybe Grass or something. They are Grass. I predicted it correctly. I did have that thought in my mind right before I said it. So anyways, they're going to probably go for a fighting move, which will do a lot, but I mean, this is going to do a lot as well. Yeah, we almost knocked them out here. Ooh, Drain Punch. Oh, but we live. That's awesome. They probably are Assault Vest because they survived my hit, and their Drain Punch didn't do like that much damage. However, of course, we do have the defense boost. So we're at the point now where I think it's GG, everyone. Given that their Flutter Mane switched out earlier, it shows that they didn't really have anything for my Espathra. And once again, Espathra is going to just cleanly sweep the opponent. And that's what I've been loving about this team. Like, it feels like people are not always going to be super prepared for it. And when that's the case, you just kind of roll over them like that. Like, Espathra is very good. And again, I think it has a really nice partner in the form of Rillaboom. You could make it a little more self-sufficient without Rillaboom by giving it the Key Berry. So Key Berry, K-E-E berry, is a berry that has existed in previous games. Oh look, I got to Master Ball tier with this team. Awesome. That's great. It's a berry that existed in previous games, but it was only brought back to Scarlet and Violet with the DLC, I believe. I think you can only get it in Ogre Ousting, the minigame, which is really annoying. And Key Berry is when you get hit by a physical move, your defense stat gets boosted. So that can make, that was an item that was used pretty commonly on Stored Power, Calm Mind, Cresselia in the past in Sword and Shield. And it can be used on Espathra now. However, Espathra is a lot less bulky. So that's the trade-off with Espathra versus like Cresselia or other Pokemon like that, is Espathra is so much less bulky than those Pokemon, but Espathra has speed boost, which means, as I pointed out in the battle right there, you get a free plus 20 to your stored power every turn, no matter what. So like you can set up a couple Calm Minds, maybe once you get your Key Berry activated, then you have a defense boost, so you already have like plus, I don't know, what is that? Plus 100, I guess. So your stored power, I believe, is a 120 base power move at that point, I think. And then you get the speed boost for free, which puts it at 140, and then the next turn you get another speed boost that's 160, and even without clicking Calm Mind, you're still boosting your stored power. So that's one upside to using Espathra over something like Cresselia. And I think Ursaluna, Blood Moon Ursaluna is another great Pokemon to use a Key Berry. But anyways, I don't think I have one, so I need to farm that. But those are the battles for today. That was a lot of fun. I'm really happy I got to show off my Espathra, and I'm really happy it did as well as it did. It got me to Master Ball tier, because that was a little thing that I cooked up, and it ended up just being really good. So I'm going to jump on this lady right here, and I hope you have a great day. Ow! I almost died.